one of the basic understandings of our spiritual anatomy, which will help us to understand our desire to call angels into our life. So here we go.
If your desire is union with God, then come with me and let me show you through this chart of the I Am Presence what are the stages of that reunion. If you look at the chart behind me, you see a likeness of yourself standing in the violet flame. The violet flame is God's gift of the Holy Spirit to you. Through the violet flame, you transmute the records of negativity, or sin, or karma. And in that process, you attain union with your Holy Christ self, who is the middle figure in the chart. This is the manifestation of the Son of God. As you look beyond that presence of the Christ, you see the I Am that I Am, centered in spheres of concentric light. The I Am presence is the same, the very one who appeared to Moses and gave to us that name, I Am that I Am. The goal of the conclusion of your life is to attain union with God, the I Am presence. Your soul ascends to that presence already wearing the garments of your Christhood. And in that I Am presence, then, you know yourself as an immortal being whom we call an Ascended Master. The path of the teachings of the Ascended Masters is this, union with God. All of the world's major religions in their mystical paths have demonstrated this union. And therefore, come and study the teachings of the Ascended Masters and find your liberation in this life.
So the Ascended Masters, they are our elder brothers and sisters on the spiritual path. They walk the earth like us. They balanced their karma. They mastered the circumstances of their lives, and they ascended back to God. And they work with earnest seekers in our spiritual evolution. Even as they teach mankind, they are also students. They've studied in the etheric retreats of the heaven world in preparation for incarnation on earth. And as ascended beings are also evolving themselves in the chain of cosmic hierarchy. We can see these images down here on the bottom left. We have Mahachohan. He holds the office of the Holy Spirit. We have Mother Mary, who is actually an archangel on the green ray of healing. We have Little Thumi, who was in one of his embodiments, Saint Francis. We have Nada here. We have Gautama Buddha, Kuan Yin, Saint Therese. Up on the top left, we have Sanat Kumara, Lady Master Portia, Saint Germain, El Moria, Jesus of Christ, and Magda. Elizabeth Clare Prophet. Through Elizabeth Clare Prophet, the Ascended Masters have released profound teachings that present a path whereby souls can find their way back to God. And these messages that she has brought forth are known as dictations. And they contain the words from the heavenly beings, as well as a transfer of light for our soul's quickening. While receiving the dictations, Elizabeth Clare Prophet was fully conscious in an exalted state in the lineage of the prophets. Mrs. Prophet was the founder of the Summit Lighthouse, and she delivered the Ascended Masters' teachings on a wide variety of spiritual subjects, such as angels, karma and reincarnation, healing, twin flames, soulmates, just to name a few. The teachings continue to be released by the Summit Lighthouse in more than 30 languages. So we saw in the clip this chart of the divine self. We're going to go over a little bit more about it and just to anchor the understanding a bit more. In this image, you see three figures. We have the upper figure, we have a middle figure, and we have a lower figure. Next slide, we're going to go into a little more detail about this upper figure. So in the center of the upper figure, to have what's known as the I am presence. And this is a spirit of God individualized for each of us. The I am presence is surrounded by 7 concentric spheres known as a causal body. These spheres are pulsating spiritual energy, and they contain the records of all our positive karma. They correspond to the 7 rays and the 7 chakras. And as we use God's energy in positive ways, the energy rises to our causal body, and it becomes our bank account in heaven. This image is of the middle figure, as it might appear to people coming from different traditions. We have on the left the Christ, we have Zoroaster, we have Guru Nanak, and we have Krishna. This is known as the higher self. All these masters have attained the bonding of their soul to the higher self and made their ascension. And they are our elder brothers and sisters on the path. And they resonate with a higher consciousness, which we also have shown in the middle figure on that chart. So when we are looking for direction, that higher self is the voice that speaks within our heart. It's a voice that tells us right from wrong and gives us guidance. And when we follow that guidance, the holy higher self draws closer to us. When we fail to listen to that guidance, it moves farther away from us. So our goal is for the higher self to envelop us. And this occurs when we have sufficiently purified our auras. And we can purify our auras by invoking light through the science of the spoken word, which we'll be exploring and practicing later. And here we see an image of the violet flame in the lower figure. The lower figure represents us, the soul evolving on planet Earth. And the soul is part of us that is mortal, but that can become immortal. Mortal means it can be lost. Our souls can be lost. The violet flame depicted around the evolving soul is a high frequency energy of mercy, forgiveness, and transmutation that can be invoked through the science of the spoken word. Around the violet flame is the protective white light called the tube of light, which can also be invoked through the science of the spoken word. The tube of light protects and seals our aura. The stream of light that we see descending from above comes from the I am presence through the higher self to the lower figure, and is known as the crystal cord, which ties us to our spiritual, individualized I am presence, what we saw in the higher figure on the chart. This image is the image of a pearl. The pearl represents our soul. And our souls descended from spirit into earthly planes, but we've lost the memory of our origin. It's the awakening soul that responds to the call to begin the ascent back to God. Our soul may be asking, why am I here? Where am I going? Here we have an image of our 7 major chakras and the 8th ray chakra, starting at the base. Starting at the base chakra, we see it has 4 petals. It's the lowest vibrating of the 7 chakras. Next week, we're actually going to be going into more detail about the chakras. But right now, I want you to take note of the next chakra up from the base of the spine chakra is a 6-petaled violet-colored chakra known as the seat of the soul chakra. So we mentioned that specifically in regards to the soul, because that's the home of the soul. And when the soul learns to let go of her human moorings and connect with herself as the higher self, she then ascends up the spinal altar and bond with the threefold flame in the secret chamber of the heart, which you see here as the 8-petaled peach-colored chakra to the left and behind the 12-petaled heart chakra in the center of the chest. And here's a larger picture of that chakra. The goal for each of our souls is to permanently unite with the higher self and the I Am Presence. And this is the integration of the 3 levels of the consciousness that we showed in that chart. We showed in the chart: the I Am Presence, the higher self, and the soul. As we master ourselves through balancing our karma and learning the lessons of that karma, our soul then can rise on that spiritual journey upward. And this is an image of the secret chamber of the heart we saw on the image of the chakra man. You see in this image, there's what we call the threefold flame. And this threefold flame has 3 plumes that embody the 3 primary attributes of God consciousness that correspond to the Trinity. The blue plume embodies God's power and corresponds with the Father and the first ray and the throat chakra. The yellow plume embodies God's wisdom and corresponds to the sun, the second ray, and the crown chakra. The pink plume on our right embodies God's love and corresponds to the Holy Spirit, the third ray, and the heart chakra. We're called to expand these plumes as Jesus did. His threefold flame expanded to the full height of his form. For us, it's 1/16 of an inch high. Before our departure from innocence, the crystal cord was 9 feet in diameter, and the threefold flame enveloped our forms. Our source of energy was unlimited, and the Christ consciousness was all enfolding. After our fall from higher octaves, our opportunity to exercise free will was curtailed. By cosmic edict, the threefold flame was reduced to 1/16 of an inch in height. We can call to the Ascended Masters to help us to heal our souls and expand our threefold flame. So we learned that we have 3 upper bodies: I Am Presence, the causal body, and the higher self. We also have 4 lower bodies of our energy fields: the physical, the mental, the emotional, and the etheric. And we've been given tools to change any negative energy patterns that are within these 4 lower bodies. And one of those tools is calling to the angelic realms. We're going to look more into the angelic kingdom and how these blessed angels can help us. There are many bands of angels within the angelic kingdom. God gave us free will, and it's cosmic law that angels do not intervene in personal or world affairs unless we ask. Free will means that we may accept or reject the laws of God and the opportunity to live in the consciousness of love. We can simply talk to angels about our problems as if we were talking to our best friend. Angels' assignment is to infuse the virtuous qualities of comfort, protection, guidance, and warning to mankind. Angels are charged as God's step-down transformers of light. They can assume various forms, such as appearing in human form or as an unseen force of concentrated energy in answer to our call. The Lord has provided angels to rise in the order of hierarchy. Through centuries of allegiance to the Creator and devotion to his creation, angels may be given the gift of free will and the opportunity to embody in human form. Angels are servants of God who were created to help us realize our divine potential. And archangels are the highest being in the angelic kingdom. Each archangel and their divine complement, called an archai, has legions of angels who serve under them. They have a tremendous love for mankind that keeps them working on our behalf. Earth's atmosphere is uncomfortable to their pure vibrations. Their only motive is to raise God's children to their original state of oneness that we once knew. Most often, angels do not appear physically to us, although some people, especially children, do see angels. We may sense their heavenly presence. Angels can appear in all their majesty with God's light, and they can also appear in human form. We can communicate with angels by prayer, meditation, command, or decree. Our prayers to the angels must fulfill 3 conditions. They do not interfere with God's plan, they will do no harm, and the timing is in accordance with our karmic cycles. Angels answer all of our prayers according to what is best for us. We will receive the best response based on our soul's needs and our karma. We give more power to our prayers when we speak them aloud because we're using the throat chakra, which is the power center. Angels are waiting for our calls. The archangels on the 7 rays of God's consciousness each have a legion of angels under their command. Our prayers are answered with precision, and the more specific our requests, the more specific the response. For example, if we want to pray for someone who's going into surgery, besides naming the person, it's best to include the name of the hospital and the address, the doctor, the time of surgery, and the desired outcome. The archangels are master surgeons who can repair our bodies and mend our souls. There's no field of study in which they do not excel. Each of the 7 rays and the 8th ray has a presiding archangel, an archai, who embodies the God consciousness of that ray. Each directs bands of angels serving in their command on that ray. And when calling for the best outcome for surgery, for instance, we can call to the angels on the green ray of healing. So we're going to look more closely at each of the 7 archangels and note the specific qualities of each of the rays. Just as a ray of sunlight passes through a prism, it's refracted into colors. Spiritual light manifests as 7 rays. These rays correspond to the chakras, the major chakras, and the 7 days of the week. On each day of the week, there is a release of light to earth of a particular ray. This slide shows the archangel and the archai who serve on each of the 7 rays and their specific qualities. So we start at the top with the blue ray, which is the first ray of God's will, God's power, protection, and faith. The archangels are Archangel Michael and faith. On the second ray, which corresponds to crown chakra, we have the archangels Jophiel and Christine. The God qualities are wisdom, illumination, and education. On the third ray of God's love, which corresponds with the heart chakra. And by the way, the day of the week is Monday. Forgot to mention the day of the week for the blue ray is Tuesday, and Sunday for Jophiel and Christine. So Jophiel and Christine can be called forth, as all the angels can be called forth on any day, and yet a specific ray is released on that day of the week, which corresponds to that ray. So the qualities for Archangels Chamuel and Charity on the pink ray of divine love, creativity, beauty, and art. The fourth ray, we have the archangels Gabriel and Hope, and their God qualities are purity, hope, and the ray of the ascension. And that corresponds with the base of the spine chakra, and the day of the week. It's most prevalent on earth is Friday. Archangel Raphael and Mother Mary, they correspond to the green ray of healing, God's vision, abundance, science, and music. This day of the week that this ray is most profound is Wednesday. And it corresponds with the third eye chakra, the fifth ray. The sixth ray, Archangels Uriel and Aurora. And the God qualities are peace, administration, and service. This ray is released to planet Earth most profoundly on Thursday. Seventh ray, Archangel Zachiel and Holy Amethyst. The qualities of freedom, forgiveness, transmutation, and diplomacy. The day that this ray is most profoundly released to planet Earth is Saturday. And people actually choose to wear the color of the day on the day that ray is released. We're going to go over each of the rays and their corresponding archangels and archangels in a little more detail. So Archangel Michael commands legions of angels to protect and rescue souls from the accumulation of their human creation, the human karma, and from projections of dark forces. Michael states that he has determined to never give up until the last child of light on this planet has risen to the God source in the ritual of the ascension. He protects us from physical and spiritual dangers, everything from accidents to physical aggression. World service, inspiration for leaders, improvement in our government, so we can call to him in any of these needs that we see for ourselves, for our loved ones, for planet Earth. And he is also the captain of all the angels. Archangel Jophiel and Christine serve on the second ray of wisdom, illumination, and education. And by the way, these images actually release the light of the master. Not all images capture the frequency of the angels. It can be distorted, for instance, some images, but these images radiate the frequency of the archangel. So we can, as we look at them, we also are imbibing their light as they are downloaded through their images. These angels are relentless in their warfare against ignorance, mental density, and mediocrity. Archangel Jophiel teaches that a single mind, transformed by the mind of God, is a catalyst for quickening the minds of an entire planet. So we can call to Archangel Jophiel and Christine to help us illuminate the educational systems and our own capacity to learn and retain information. As I mentioned, it corresponds with the crown chakra, the second ray, and is released on Sundays today. There'll be time for questions and comments at the end, by the way. So if you do have a question as we go along, you can put it in the chat box, or you can just unmute yourself at the end and we will have time for discussion. Together with their legions of pink flame angels, Chamuel and Charity serve to expand the flame of adoration and divine love within the hearts of mankind. So if we are someone who is involved in painting or and creativity in any way, we can call to Archangel Chamuel and the Archangel Charity to help us with the expression of beauty. And of course, as this quality of love of the heart chakra, we also can ask them to help us purify our heart chakra so that we may be a step down transformer for God's love out into the world. Archangels Gabriel and Archangel Hope serve on the fourth ray of purity, discipline, hope, and the ascension. And we're going to be learning more about the ascension in our not next week, but the following week. We'll be focused on the ascension. Next week, it will be about the violet flame and chakras. Together with the angels of purity and the seraphim, these angels help us with our disciplines and freeing ourselves from unwanted habits. They serve on the fourth ray, which corresponds with the base of the spine chakra. They are that ray is released on Friday. Archangels Raphael and Mother Mary. They serve on the fifth ray of healing, vision, music, truth, science, mathematics, and abundance. And Mother Mary took incarnation on earth, having been chosen by God to give birth to Jesus. Archangel Raphael did not embody with her, but overshadowed her throughout her mission. This ray is released on Wednesday, and it corresponds with the third eye chakra. So if we are wanting to purify our use of our third eye chakra, our capacity to visualize, to hold a perfect matrix for life, we can ask Archangels Raphael and Mother Mary to help us purify that chakra. And we'll be learning more about the quality of holding the Immaculate Concept through the third eye chakra next week. Archangels Uriel and Aurora serve on the sixth ray of God's peace, administration, brotherhood, and service. And the sixth ray angels embody the flame of peace for mankind. The color is purple and gold. It's released to the planet on Thursday. And corresponds with the solar plexus chakra. Archangel Zachiel and Holy Amethyst are the archangels on the seventh ray of freedom, transmutation, diplomacy, mercy, justice, and forgiveness. The violet flame angels help us to free ourselves from negative emotions. And we will be talking more about that violet flame next week. But we are going to practice a mantra using the violet flame in a few slides. So we can evoke the angels through the science of the spoken word. And this science is worded in different forms. It can be a fiat, a short, like, Archangel Michael, help me, help me, help me. It can be a prayer. It can be an affirmation, a song, a decree, or a mantra. Decrees are longer spoken rhythmic prayer, which combines visualizations with precisely worded formulas spoken aloud. Decrees direct light of the seven rays for constructive personal and world change. Decrees are repeated because we're giving more light energy to the angels. And we can increase the power of our prayer by visualizing the desired outcome. The violet flame. That was supposed to be violet. It looks more red. I should have magnified it when I was preparing it. But anyway, the violet flame has the power to transmute or change negative energy into positive energy. And by transforming negative thoughts and feelings, the violet flame can free us from our past and allow for more joy in our lives. The violet flame is a forgiving flame. And when we do not forgive, we tie ourselves to that person. We are not truly free until we forgive. We're going to give a violet flame decree for about 4 minutes on the next slide. The words will be on the screen, and we can use this image that we note here of the violet flame. We can take it into our third eye chakra, and then we can apply it to each of our chakras that we will see on the slide in the next screen. So here we go.
I am a being of violet fire, I am the purity God desires. I am a being of violet fire, I am the purity God desires. I am a being of violet fire, I am the purity God desires. My heart is a chakra of violet fire, my heart is the purity God desires. My heart is a chakra of violet fire, my heart is the purity God desires. My heart is a chakra of violet fire, my heart is the purity God desires. I am a being of violet fire, I am the purity God desires. I am a being of violet fire, I am the purity God desires. I am a being of violet fire, I am the purity God desires. My throat chakra is a wheel of violet fire. My throat chakra is the purity God desires. My throat chakra is a wheel of violet fire. My throat chakra is the purity God desires. My throat chakra is a wheel of violet fire. My throat chakra is the purity God desires. I am a being of violet fire, I am the purity God desires. I am a being of violet fire, I am the purity God desires. I am a being of violet fire, I am the purity God desires. My solar plexus is a sun of violet fire. My solar plexus is the purity God desires. My solar plexus is a sun of violet fire. My solar plexus is the purity God desires. My solar plexus is a sun of violet fire. My solar plexus is the purity God desires. I am a being of violet fire, I am the purity God desires. I am a being of violet fire, I am the purity God desires. I am a being of violet fire, I am the purity God desires. My third eye is the center of violet fire. My third eye is the purity God desires. My third eye is the center of violet fire. My third eye is the purity God desires. My third eye is the center of violet fire. My third eye is the purity God desires. I am a being of violet fire, I am the purity God desires. I am a being of violet fire, I am the purity God desires. I am a being of violet fire, I am the purity God desires. My soul chakra is a sphere of violet fire. My soul is the purity God desires. My soul chakra is a sphere of violet fire. My soul is the purity God desires. My soul chakra is a sphere of violet fire. My soul is the purity God desires. I am a being of violet fire. I am the purity God desires. I am a being of violet fire. I am the purity God desires. I am a being of violet fire. I am the purity God desires. My crown chakra is a lotus of violet fire. My crown chakra is the purity God desires. My crown chakra is a lotus of violet fire. My crown chakra is the purity God desires. My crown chakra is a lotus of violet fire. My crown chakra is the purity God desires. I am a being of violet fire. I am the purity God desires. I am a being of violet fire. I am the purity God desires. I am a being of violet fire. I am the purity God desires. My base chakra is a fount of violet fire. My base chakra is the purity God desires. My base chakra is a fount of violet fire. My base chakra is the purity God desires. My base chakra is the fount of violet fire. My base chakra is the purity God desires. I am a being of violet fire. I am the purity God desires. I am a being of violet fire. I am the purity God desires. I am a being of violet fire. I am the purity God desires.